Okay, in this session, it's only going to be 5 to 7 minutes. We're going to be diving into the city of Townsville and looking for the exact suburbs and streets and individual properties we would be looking and focusing our attention if we had to buy there. Okay, it's not saying that we would buy there or recommend this area. If we are asking ourselves, we want to find those best opportunities in Townsville, this 5-minute video is going to give you this high-level zoom in to be able to identify those properties very quickly. This is general advice only. This is not individual investment advice. We're not picking properties for you to go out and buy. You're looking at how overall we are doing this research, and it might point you in the right direction for Townsville. You know, you might get some of these insights that are going to be useful for you if you do go out and purchase there, but it is general advice only. So to start this investigation, we are in Picki, picki.com.au. We're going to be diving into the research hub to begin with, and then typing in Townsville, City of Townsville, local government area. Let's start at the top of the funnel. All right, so the first thing that we're looking at, is this the right where? Is the thesis around the opportunity or the capital growth opportunity in Townsville as a city, as a local government area in this case, compelling enough and worthy of our attention? Now, this high-level assessment is looking at all of our algorithms behind the scenes, which is a 3 to 5 year model, and it is saying that Townsville is in the top 85% of all local government areas across the country. Obviously, that's doing very good. That's a great number. There are still 15% of locations that are doing better, but the purpose of this video is to say, if we had to buy in Townsville, where would we zoom in on and actually end up purchasing? So I won't spend too much time at this local government area, in this case city level research, because we've already made the decision to purchase there for the purposes of this video. Employment diversity, very good. Income growth is low, but remember, this is a regional centre. Generally, capitals have higher income growth. Commute time, around that 20-minute mark. That is high for regional centres, but remember, there is a lot of travelling involved with some of these regional centres, diverse employment, people travelling out to agriculture, mining, etc., tourism up and down the coastline or around the Townsville area in this case. So we have to remember and take that with a grain of salt. I'll skip through these quickly because once again we are diving deeper into this investigation and not sticking up here at the local government area level. Look, great local services as a regional, very good. It has all the big ticket items we need. Lots of nice new projects coming through the pipeline. Spend per capita on new projects coming through the pipeline in the future is is high. 4 stars out of 5. $16,000 per person in the construction pipeline coming forward. A lot of diverse new projects coming through for Townsville. Population growth has rebounded in the last year or so. Okay, we have an undersupply that is emerging at this local government area city level, and good population growth, very high for a regional centre, slated for the next 3 years. This is COVID, Ripehouse advisory data. Now, new home construction, 1.4% projected new construction in the next 12 months, which is outperforming the forecasted population growth. So we expect this undersupply to continue. So remember, if we wanted or had to buy in Townsville, this is the purpose of this video, where would we buy? At a city level, we could do a lot worse. You know, it's doing a very good job. We're in the top 85th percentile of all local government areas across the country. So the where is actually quite compelling anyway. Now, over here on the right, it shows us there are 89 suburbs in the city of Townsville, and it's actually ranked top to bottom from best to worst in terms of our shorter 1-year growth model. So the suburbs at the top are actually the strongest candidates. So we don't need to, go crazy and dig in here deeper. The number 1 on the list, well, we don't have enough sample size to actually have a reliable yield figure, and that's why there is a dash there. So we can go into that and investigate if we would like, but I generally will skip to the second on the list, which in this case is Annandale. So this, from an algorithmic perspective, is ticking all of our boxes. Let's see why. In the prime buying window. Okay, recent growth in this area has been slightly negative. And that's sometimes counterintuitive because, if there's a really strong capital growth in a location in the 3 months prior, it means that there's probably a bit of steam has been let out of that market. Okay, people, as prices grow, less people can afford them, and we generally have an inverse relationship between price growth and future performance. So this type of consolidation might be actually giving us a nice entry point into the suburb, especially when you see the suburb next door has grown 10% in the same period. So in comparison, there might be ripple effects starting to emerge where this is now suddenly cheap in comparison to its neighbour. So we have to think outside the box sometimes when we're doing these investigations. I like to see at least 66% owner-occupier levels, and we have 71% here in this suburb. Very good. Now, I like to see vendor discounting, a bit of heat emerging into the market, and this is saying that it is a positive vendor discounting amount, so it's not a discounting. That means that properties are selling for more than the asking price. That's showing us that there is some momentum really in this market. Let's have a look at yield very quickly. We're going through how it compares to its neighbours. Yield at 5.3%. This seems to be a higher yielding pocket of the city. Up here in the north is lower yielding, but we are supported and surrounded by other higher yielding locations. So we are in a good, strong yielding pocket of this local government area. Vacancy rates, let's see how tight it is. 1.4%, nice tick there. Days of supply, I like to generally see this tightening over time, and under 100 is the magic number for us for these regional centres. It's just there, and it is seemingly tightening, so you can see the trend line here for each of these metrics from just over 100 12 months ago now to just under 100, but it is trending upwards slightly right now. Overall, suburb is ticking all of our boxes from a buying window, a shorter term perspective. So we've got the where right, now we've got the when. I'll be starting to focus my attention in on this suburb as one of my candidates, working my way down that list of 89 suburbs. Remember, sticking to the top as much as we can. Now, gun to our head, we want to be buying in this suburb. Which individual street locations do we purchase? I want to have lots of owner-occupiers, lots of houses, which is the most in-demand property type for this suburb, above average rents, above average yields, and low public housing. That is the magic combination we call the Ripehouse sweet spot. Let's see if we can find these locations. So any of these darker pink areas is over 66%, so a lot that northern region and the northwestern region of the suburb, all of these street locations are ticking that box. Now we want lots of houses, not really an issue here because there's very few units in the suburb. Let's see if we can find above average rental prices. We don't have enough data here at a street level to generate that, which is okay. It means that we can almost enter into this market wholesale when the other boxes have been ticked. Let's jump over here into public housing. Very few public housing to speak of in the suburb. I mean, the highest public housing concentrations across the whole suburb are 6.9%. At this price point, $400,000, at this yield, 6.9% is an acceptable public housing level. Anything over 10, 15%, that's when we're starting to see issues. Burnouts on the street, maybe front fences missing, that sort of thing. Wouldn't expect any issues here. All right, so there are not really a huge amount of areas that we're actually ruling out of this location. Let me just dive over into realestate.com and we'll just do a quick high-level check of the individual properties on the market. I won't spend too much time here. We could go down a bit of a rabbit hole. And then also use realestate.com there to just check flood zones or any risk factors. I won't go in and do flood zone checks, etc. with council at this point. Annandale, Queensland, I won't include surrounding areas just so I can focus in here a little bit cleaner. Now, one of the gotchas for Townsville, insurance policies. Double check, we do have Sure Insurance, S-U-R-E Insurance, which is helping to minimise and lower insurance premiums. Why don't we just jump over here to the map view very quickly. 39 properties on the market as of now. We can do further filtering around property types, removing units, etc., and decreasing that. Now, Annandale, we do need to be careful of flood risks. We do need to be careful in neighbouring suburbs of public housing risks. So even though Annandale itself doesn't have public housing issues, neighbouring suburbs may do. Okay, so we do need to be sensitive of that. We are operating and buying in a lower socio pocket of Townsville. I have been told in the years, this pocket over here is generally lower socio, and some property managers a few years ago wouldn't touch managements in this area. We have a lot of new supply over in this southeastern pocket of Townsville. We do need to be sensitive of that. We have upgrades to the university that's occurring just to the west of Annandale, and we have, good shopping, good health, good access into the CBD. It is actually positioned quite well, apart from the risk associated with supply coming in to the east. Okay, so really we've got to come in here on the major gotchas for this suburb are flood zones, sticking to that 3 or 4 bedroom, sticking to that type of property that really is broad appeal in terms of rentals, and definitely staying away from units. Hopefully that dive from top to bottom is useful. It'd be great to get any feedback from you around parts of this type of focus that you would like to see more of, parts that are useful. We can take a deeper dive there and into those individual elements the next time we do one of these videos. If you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, which means it might be shown to a few more people that might find it useful. Thank you very much.